no holding back now, Phil. You cannot let go. Here we are. This is Nightline. We're on the air. You can't do a thing.
I know, it's full steam ahead, and thanks to David Manford for looking after the show with you on 3 occasions last week, on the 23rd, on Christmas Eve and Christmas night. Sorry I was indisposed. I think you're aware I was in the Epworth Hospital. They worked wonders. I'm back on deck as I was for Remember When last night, and it's full steam ahead, Bruce. Absolutely.
Oh, well, you've made that decision. You've made that resolution.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, I'll try and be healthy. I'll try and be optimistic. And I'll try and spread love and good cheer.
Well, that's great. That's wonderful. That's positive.
Because there's a lot of people worse off than I am, and I saw some of them in the Epworth, and they were going to be there for weeks and months.
Oh, look, yes, you do.
And you just reach out to them, and the bloke in the next cubicle to me, Alistair, I think he's going to be there indefinitely. Take care, Alistair. I know you listen to Nightline.
Were you sharing with him, or was he in the next bed?
No, actually, we had like separate alcoves, an L-shaped room at the end of a corridor. We had to share a bathroom, but he didn't disturb me too often, and I imagine he's still there for a few days. So to all my friends at the Epworth, staff and patients, I'll have a bond with you forever now, and I'll drop in on you from time to time.
Oh, you will? Well, when is that due?
Oh, well, I'll just call by and spread a bit of good cheer.
So you won't, there's nothing planned?
Well, I haven't got my diary, but I mean, if I'm passing by on the 48 tram, it'd be a nice thing to do, wouldn't it?
Well, I think it'd be lovely. I mean, you've got that probus work that you're doing, a lot of speeches and addressing probus. You're going to Epworth.
Yes, I've got the time to do it.
I think that's wonderful.
Remember when I broke my hip in Hong Kong, a year later, I went back to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital to thank Dr. No Man Yip and all the surgeons there and all the stuff, and they said you were the first foreigner who has ever come back to say thank you.
Only because you were invited back and you weren't going to take any litigation, and there was no, I'm not going to sue because I've re-broken my hip.
No, I was very good with the people in the hotel.
Yeah, because of the law.
And they put me up for a weekend to sort of say,
oh, rubbish.
Thanks for not
a free
suing.
trip.
Thanks for not
What do you
suing.
want, a couple of weeks at Epworth?
No, they should have had that. They should have had those stairs roped off. Absolutely.
Oh, we'll go for a third demeanour on this one.
And anybody could fall a cropper there on those marble stairs.
There's another 2 weeks up there during summer.
Now, I was watching the 9 News tonight, and what sort of age do we live in where medics in hospital emergencies are going to need to wear bulletproof vests?
Isn't that dreadful? I couldn't agree with you more. I was ashamed.
What a terrible indictment on our society.
Oh, shocking.
And not only in emergency departments, but even paramedics too.
But here are people who are looking after, trying to save, looking after the health of people who are suffering and are at risk themselves.
Yeah, but I suppose if you're high on ice or drugs, you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, well, okay, so that explains. In the whole gamut's available.
Well, I'm just telling you, people who have been subjected to drugs have a super strength somehow, and they can, can take 6 people to get them to the ground and wrestle with them.
Garbage collectors, policemen, traffic, school teachers.
Yes.
Nobody's safe.
No, it's very sad. You have to be alert. Don't be alarmed, but be looking over your shoulder.
Okay, good evening, 3AW Wangaratta, 2QN Deniliquin, and what a state the world is in as far as nature is concerned.
Yes.
Turbulent time across the globe. 500 hectares of fire northwest of Los Angeles, forcing the closure of highways and evacuations. Flooding in Paraguay, Argentina, Uruguay and Brazil.
Yes.
Worst flooding in Britain. Fires in Victoria.
Yeah, I know. It's often so this time of the year.
It is. It is a very turbulent time, a bad time of the year.
Oh, wait, look at the Boxing Day tsunami a few years ago.
Yeah, that's true. That happened. Yes, you're right.
It's always a lot of sadness between Christmas and the New Year.
Yeah.
Often caused by the forces of nature. And wouldn't you hate to be living in Texas and Missouri and some of these places in the deep South America where they have these shocking hurricanes and cyclones and twisters?
Oh, yes.
How scary would that be?
Very scary. And what about Sydney to the Hobart yacht race? Sydney to Hobart? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's still being run. I don't think Comanche has come over the finishing line
So
yet.
Comanche looks to be the tailgate?
I understand so from what I've been reading, but
Good.
it's a very slow finish.
That's one of ours, is it? Or
The yachts might have been becalmed, you see.
It's one of ours, is it?
Oh, yeah, of course. But if there's
No, it's not, I think.
if there's no wind to back it up, obviously it could be a while before
it's American.
come through the finishing line. Well, even it is American, you know. You still salute them, don't you, for their prowess and their courage?
Not if they're not one of ours.
Oh, yes, you do. You have to be sportsmanlike, even if they're from China. Give them a pat on the back.
Oh, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. That's what yachting is all about.
Oh, take that to the yachtsman down there at Dartmouth at the end of the game, eh?
Oh, no. In life, the thing is to compete. You don't have to win all the time.
Oh, don't you? That's the reason for going through ploughing headwinds and death-defying waves.
Would you like to take part one Boxing Day?
Who with?
Would you like to be a part of it if John Bertram asked you to come on board?
Who with?
Well, I don't know. I don't know who'd want you as part of their team, but would you consider it as a celebrity?
Well, I suppose I'd have to get a crew to say, yes, we want him for a reason.
You could provide the entertainment, perhaps, for a couple of days.
You're not stupid now. No, we're back at Dimmy House. Chris at Broadmeadows. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Bruce and Phil.
Yeah, first call of the week, Chris.
Much love and prayers for both of you. And I didn't speculate, but I was concerned whether you were okay, Phil. But do you mind, maybe it's not necessarily the question to ask you on there, Father Gerard Dallin just sent me his annual Christmas cheers to me, and he sent me his private phone number, his mobile and home number.
Yes.
I've known him since 1979, since he got me some exclusive help when I was a juvenile delinquent, and we've kept in contact. Do you mind if I just send on my respects and thoughts for you and Bruce to Father Gerard, if he'd like to say?
Oh, yeah, he's a good pal of ours and has been for years.
Yeah. I don't want to put bragging rights on my $950 win I had today, but I thought, we won't be running off and jumping on another poker machine or this or that, or throwing money away on horses and then giving it all back. I went and got myself some nice clothes, some underclothes and some socks and some shirts and a pair of shoes and all that, and but I haven't have access to inner city or outer city transport maps. You know, like with trains, buses and trams. I know it doesn't sound good for the homeowners in Coburg and maybe up in Camberfield near Ford Motor Company, but look, the time has got to come that someone has to bend the rules a bit in order to get these people needy housing and not sleeping under bridges and stuff like that around the city of Melbourne.
Yeah, right.
Your heart is in the right place, there's no doubt that, and with the right planning and as you say, with everyone agreeing to it, I think that's a very commendable thought.
Yes, I think everyone deserves a roof over their head, and they deserve that respect and dignity.
See that. Thank you very much, Chris. See that Pentridge have come under fire with the towers. Did you read about that in the
Tell me
paper?
more.
The towers, did you read about that?
No,
in the paper?
tell me more.
Well, there's not much more to say.
What, are they not safe because of the age?
Not a matter of safe, but it's just the look of them and why restore them? Why have them?
But I'm sure they're heritage listed, aren't they, being over 100 years old?
But would you like that beaming into your house? Or?
Well, they've always been there, I suppose, haven't they?
But not always a prison.
Are people living there in those towers now?
Oh, well, I don't know about the towers, but sort of in some of the accommodation overlooking the towers.
Yeah, I find it very depressing, all that old bluestone.
I would think so too.
Yes, and the ghosts of Pentridge from years gone by. I wouldn't like to have that overshadowing my property.
Isn't it amazing that was built all those years ago? It was in the middle of the country.
Yes,
it was as far out of Melbourne, the city of Melbourne, as you could get.
Absolutely.
Where are we going to build this Pentridge? Oh, we're going to do it at Coburg and Moreland, out that way. Can we get any further out? No, that's about it. All right.
Wasn't there also a pub in the area called the First and Last?
Oh, yes.
And that was on the outskirts of the city as well, obviously, in those days.
It's always been.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Chris, thank you very much.
It's past 10 already on the Monday night. It doesn't feel like a Monday, does it, somehow?
Well, what does it feel like? It doesn't feel like a Friday.
I know, it's so weird. weird, isn't it?
You give me a day between Christmas Day and Boxing Day or the end of the holiday and say, what day is it? Could be anything.
Okay, well, answer me this. Is everything back to normal tomorrow, like mail and banks?
I was ready to go to the bank today. Nah, it's a bank holiday.
Oh, yes, today.
Oh, well, I'll go tomorrow. Don't think they'll be open either.
Really? So when's the next mail delivery?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay.
Steve, good evening.
You're a dork, Bruce.
Hey, thanks for that book, Steve. It's going to be wonderful.
Oh, did you get it? Oh, great.
How are you?
Yeah.
Good.
I hate this period because
So do I.
you don't know what's open. You know, basically from Christmas Eve to, I reckon, I don't know, a couple of days after New Year's, you might as well not bother going to the post office for anything.
Yes, it's true. Yes. And I think next week the postage goes up, doesn't it? And letters could take up to a week to be delivered. Is that true?
2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. It really doesn't matter anymore, does it?
That's true.
Wouldn't it be funny if there are units near the Pentridge? Wouldn't it be funny if someone rang up and said, "Oh, here's Steve from Pentridge." Oh God!
Yeah.
How would you like that? I wouldn't live there. I think it is a bit.
I watched a show tonight. You would absolutely love it, Steve.
Yes.
On television, on SBS. The real history of science fiction invasion.
Oh, really?
You would love it. And it went back to the 1950s,
Yep.
Yeah.
to the Blob and to
Okay.
wonderful things.
Blob. Oh,
Did it talk about the spacecraft crash at Roswell?
Doctor Who. It was just... And the evolution, how it's evolved, science fiction in movies.
Oh.
You're a tease, Bruce. Thanks a lot.
No, you'd love that.
Yes.
Orson Welles plays a huge part in it, War of the Worlds, as does old H.G. Wells.
Of course.
You know, I wish I was born when he made that famous radio. Mm-hmm. You know,
Yeah.
that scared half the country.
That's right.
Listen, guys, just quickly, an odd and strange. Speaking of odd and strange, have you ever heard of memory transference from organ donors?
No.
Give us an example, Steve.
Okay, I'll give you an example. A factory worker, a 47-year-old factory worker, received the heart of a 17-year-old black student, and straight after the operation, soon after the operation, he developed a fascination for classical music, and he couldn't figure out why, and he found out that the donor who died was an artist and actually died hugging his violin.
Yes.
The next one was a person who inherited the heart of a teenager who, as soon as they received the donor, and you know, this person was vegan, right? The recipient was a vegan, never wanted to touch meat, suddenly developed a fascination for Kentucky, KFC, chicken nuggets, and found out that the donor was obsessed with KFC.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like, apparently these are documented cases. It's just incredible. Like, there was another one where a person received a heart from someone and soon after developed artistic talents. And it was amazed to discover that the man who donated his heart was a keen artist as well.
And do you think it's just a coincidence, Steve?
No, not really. As Bruce, Phil, speaking of these sort of shows, there was one on, I don't know, ABC a few years ago, and they were talking about this very thing. People who are getting, hearts from their, recipient, the donors, and they develop their traits, their personality traits. It's not in every single person, but there were documented cases, and it's just bizarre. It's just it just can't be explained. You know how those people have, collapse and wake up in hospital and speak in a foreign language?
Yes.
Yeah.
They can't explain that. So, there's so many things that are unexplained. That's what fascinates me the most, and I'm sure that show you're talking about, Bruce, would be quite interesting. I know it's about the movies, but still, it's in that same genre.
You could probably watch it online, Steve. Probably be repeated if you look for it.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Good on you, mate. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Interesting when Steven, who did the Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg was perfecting that because there was a modern day look, wasn't it? At the age of space and all the wonders of the... And Richard Dreyfuss went past the studio each time he was previewing some of this material.
Yes.
And Richard Dreyfuss would say, don't use so and so an actor. He's got a sense of humour because he was trying to get into the movie, and I think he did get eventually into.
Yeah, I think
Close Encounters.
he was in the movie. Yeah,
Because he
very
said,
exciting.
because he said, what you need in that movie is a child.
Oh yes.
And it suddenly came to Spielberg. Yes, it is. It's that little boy, that whole new wonderment of space.
It really worked, didn't it?
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. Yeah, yeah.
And I
Close
sort of thought
Encounters.
that it made the space experiments and all that more family, more suitable.
Yeah, and about the same time we had E.T. too, didn't we? Which was gorgeous.
E.T. was a very good example
Yes,
too.
yes. Two good examples.
Yes, yes. But it's always fascinating us, hasn't it?
Oh, yes, because we just don't know what's out there, do we?
That's exactly right. And so many people, so many filmmakers have taken advantage of it.
It'll be a mystery we'll never have the answer to.
Edna, good evening.
Bruce and Phil.
Yes, Edna.
Oh, Edna, thank you for your goodies and the raspberry jam and everything else you sent us.
That's all right, Phil. Welcome back. And I just think for me, I feel there's some presence out there that looks after me for my own good. And I think it's in all of us. If we can sometimes just go within, you can't go on too much with you know yourself, and you can't push it onto other people because sometimes I think, oh, there she goes again, or here he goes again.
That's right.
But it's something there, and it's happened too many times for me to think otherwise, you know. And I feel it's the Spirit of God. There's a spirit, there's some sort of a presence that's out there in the world, and I feel you can see it working in you, Phil. And I think you could see it in lots of people. In everyone, it's there, but we have to sort of hone into it somehow and think about it, meditate on it, or just sit and go back on your life. It's just a beautiful presence that's there for all of us.
Oh, yeah, well, you can't deny that. Even the fact that the sun rises in the morning when there's a butterfly fluttering about. I mean, that's part of God's creation, isn't it?
Oh, so much so, Phil. You could go on, and a tree. It's in the trees.
Yeah.
It's nature. I mean, I look at my tree outside, and I think, you know, where does all this start? Like the roots. I don't water it. I say that well, it gets watered from above, but when it doesn't, I mean, there's a lot of other things that go wrong. But when you look back, I feel as though whatever it is, it's looking after me for my own good, because I often said to myself, there but for the grace of God go I, and I never feel like I want to point the finger or judge and that, because we can't. And so many unusual things happen when I was working at hospitals, and I mean, people that would tell me things, and I think, and they want me to come back. And many a time, I'm sure I heard their last confession, because in a way that they just, the next day they got it all off their chest, and then they would die. Just things I can't explain, they can't explain, and we'll never know it all. There's a mystery that we won't know until we've gone ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's part of life's great mystery, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there are so many mysteries unsolved and unaccounted.
Yes, what I'd call part of the supernatural. Yeah, well said, Edna. Yes, I think a lot of us have tuned into, you know, special experiences, and you like to give the Creator credit for them. I do anyway. The superior being out there, controlling all our lives. But we have to be receptive, don't they, to the Spirit, and be ready to accept.
Yeah, that's our number if you'd like to talk about anything. Maybe Sydney, the Hobart Yacht Race, maybe those wonderful films that have been around for, well, not centuries, but for a long time, trying to explain the mysteries of outer space.
Yes. And on a different topic, my friend Jill has spent a couple of days at the Werribee Wildlife Zoo, you know, the African Safari Park. The 3 little lion cubs are on display now, and she said they're absolutely gorgeous. And you'll appreciate this. She stayed at the Werribee Mansion, and with a friend, they did the zoo over a couple of days. It's a wonderful experience to go there, Bruce, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, to enjoy the graciousness of the old homestead, and to feel you're on safari as well.
28 to 11. Okay, Karen at Sunshine now, Phil.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Bruce and Phil. You're sounding a lot better, Phil.
Day by day I am. Thanks, Karen.
Now, did you hear about this cruise ship that went from Sydney to Cairns? 61 people got gastro, and one lady on the ship said that the ship hadn't been cleaned when they got on, and there was no toilet paper, soap, or towels, and there was food all over the floor, beer bottles underneath the bed, and everything was really dirty. I mean, you think they'd inspect the boat before it leaves, and apparently had to go away to Cairns like that.
Yeah, well, if it's true, it's outrageous, isn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of people were complaining that it hadn't been cleaned. I mean, how can you actually, live on a ship that hasn't been serviced?
Oh, yes, it'd be diabolical. It'd be a nightmare.
And also, I was going to say that maybe they can get their money back, I don't know. But these tornadoes in Texas, apparently cars were thrown off highways and thrown into kilometres, and one lady said her daughter's car ended up in the kitchen. And whole houses blown away. I mean, now it's headed for Louisiana and Mississippi. Oh, I tell you what, I would never, ever live in America for that reason.
And no, I'm sure if your house was destroyed, you wouldn't want to go back there again, would you?
And not only that, there's blizzards coming along to those various states as well.
Yes, they have cyclones as well, and the place gets flooded, you know.
Poor things. I really feel sorry for them.
Oh, yes, so do I. It's tragic.
Yeah, not to mention the people in the fires and the floods all over the world. And
You've got a big heart, Karen.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right, Karen, thanks for calling there. 22 minutes to 11. Steve, hello, Steve.
Hi, Bruce and Phil. How are you?
Yeah, going well.
Christmas, Happy New Year and all that.
Thank you. What's your story tonight?
Tonight, my story, it was very hectic, as everybody's is, of course. I had no idea you were a crook, mate, and I wish you a speedy recovery.
Oh, thank you. I only missed out on 3 nights last week, yeah.
Oh, okay. And then I didn't even know about the fires. I was so busy with Christmas, and because we got a family birthday the next day, and then I did a gig yesterday. So I've been flat out, but just on the movie thing, what the gentleman was talking about before about movies, when Marlon Brando in the first Godfather, do you remember that?
Yes, yes.
And he used to sit in the makeup room, and it took, of course, 2 or 3 hours to put his face on.
Right.
And while he was sitting there looking at the mirror, he'd be practicing his lines with, in front of him and stuff.
Yeah.
And he started playing with cotton wool, putting it in his lower teeth, in between the lip and the teeth. And he ended up liking it, And so he was doing the shoots with that tissue in the mouth, which is why he had that very quite strange accent, the way he spoke.
Yeah, he learned that from Lee Strasberg from the Metaphysics
I
school.
think he's always spoken like that.
Oh,
I think he's always used cotton wool.
You think so?
Yeah.
Bruce is right. He's always old, yeah.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. Well, that's a friend of mine who's an actor told me. He said that's what he used to do. He used to sit, and But and the other thing I was going to say was, you guys, it's fantastic to hear you again. And if you had to go, I know it's old news now, but you've changed times and stuff. But if you had a chance to work 4 hours, I'm sure, Phil, you'd just work the extra 2 hours for nothing, wouldn't you? We all love you.
Well, if we get the chance to go back to our old time slot next year, of course we'll be a part of it. We're here to do what the station directs,
Yeah. Well, the more the better, mate.
All right. Well, at the moment you're getting twice the fun in half the time.
All right, mate. I'll say hello to the crew for you anyway.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, bye.
Okay, mate. Bye, mate.
Steve an actor, is he?
Obviously, yes, he's in the profession, yes.
But Brando forever and a day, even when you go right back to On the Waterfront and what was on the others?
Streetcar Named Desire.
All those.
Yes.
The critics in the 1950s would say, it's typical Marlon Brando. He's got his mouth full of cotton wool.
Yes.
Why is it you still
I've always thought he was overrated.
I have always thought so.
Oh, yes. Yes, it does.
And of course, the more mysterious he became, and the more you couldn't understand him, the more fascinating he became. Oh, he's great. He was with Lee Strasberg. Oh, really? Using the amount of people that they were waiting for, as far as tourism was concerned, and how that dollar has abated so much that it's, I would say, it's a grim year ahead for many storekeepers and shopkeepers. I'm not dismissing the fact that the bushfires and the devastation has been absolutely mind-blowing. But just the shopkeepers, I feel sorry for them.
Yes, well, you would choose to avoid the area at the moment wisely, wouldn't you? And into next week.
Yeah, well, naturally, but I'm just saying that all your economy is just down the gurgler.
Yeah, this is the time of the year they make their money. Oh, it's crippling for them, absolutely.
So I said that when things get better, let's all head down there a little bit and have a bit of a spend-up.
As we all went back to Marysville eventually.
Did
After
you?
Black Saturday, didn't we? You know, and spend our dollars.
Where did you go?
In the new restaurants and pubs and cafes up there. You know, spreading the love around.
Where did you go particularly?
Oh, different guest houses and different places I was taken. But
Good on you.
I just want to show them a bit of moral support, mainly, rather than financial support. Just being there for them.
I see. So it wasn't financial; it was just hi.
Oh, well, slap on the back and hey, I'm here.
Yes,
I'm here. How things going?
They'd love that.
They did. It was good for the morale.
Chris, good evening.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Phil. Hi, Bruce. Good to hear you, Phil.
Yes, and best to June as well.
Thank you, Phil, for that all the time.
Yeah.
And I just saw a couple of good shows. They're doing amazing things with the movies now. The Scrooge with there's sort of a half animation. It was on the weekend. It was fantastic. But I only caught a little bit. I couldn't watch it all. And the Raw variety performance is always terrific, isn't it? I caught a bit of that.
Hey, we were told that was wonderful this year. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Elton John was on at the end. He's gone a bit past it, don't you think, Phil?
Oh, I don't know. He's still a great entertainer, isn't he? Even though he's got a bit pudgy and a bit obese.
I don't think he'll make the high seas.
Maybe you're right, Chris. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, Chris. Roger at Caulfield. Hello, Roger.
You still there, Roger? Or did we hear the line go dead? Yes, speak to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can, yes.
Yeah, right. You talked about Pentridge before.
Yeah.
I used to clean the grounds there at the chapel there. I was an inmate in Pentridge in 95.
Right.
I was one of the last inmates that was sentenced to Pentridge, and I used to clean up around the chapel there. The only good thing about Pentridge was the actual chapel itself. The rest of it should have been bulldozed. It was a shocking place.
Yes,
Terrible.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah,
they didn't encourage people to stay there, did they? You know, crime doesn't pay and all that.
Well, most prisons do encourage people to stay there.
But how long were you there for, Roger?
I was there for about 18 months.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I'm sure you learned your lesson.
Well, hang on. You know, I had a misspent youth. I mean, I was a juvenile delinquent. And, you know, that's no fault of my own, but, you know, I'm a decent person, but I just got sentenced there and that was it. It wasn't, you know, I had nothing to do with it. The magistrate put me there.
No, I'm not judging you. It's not for me to pass judgment on you.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it's the whole place should be bulldozed apart from the chapel because I liked it. It was peaceful.
Yes, I'm sure. Oh, well, that's all behind you now, Roger. That nightmare's in the past.
Yeah, well, it is. And I'm just, you know, you're talking about the towers, and I remember the guards used to be there with M1 carbines, and they used to be looking out in the yards, you know, for any, you know, misadventures. And I'll tell you what, there was a bit of froth and bubble there a few times. I'll tell you what, it was hectic.
Oh, well, I'm glad you survived it, and I hope it's just a memory now, Roger.
Well, it is, and you know, I just thought I'd pass on information, that's all.
Yeah, thanks for that. It's very helpful. It looks like the chapel should be retained. The rest of Pentridge should be bulldozed.
Yes, all right. We'll be in touch with the guard and have a chat in the next hour. 8 to 11.
Again, this is John Doremus with the Passing Parade, the story of America's first great publicity and press agent. His name was Harry Reichenbach. Among other things, he sold the film stars Francis X. Bushman and Rudolph Valentino to the public, promoted authoress Eleanor Glynn to the top of the bestseller lists, invented the newspaper film review, and masterminded the Florida real estate boom of the 1920s. And I'll be back with his story after this message.
The greatest cleanser discovery ever, new Super Ajax, a completely new and different foaming cleanser. Super Ajax is fortified with Blancophone, the Wonder Bleach, to make sinks, basins, baths super white, super clean.
New Super Ajax, the foaming cleanser, with Blancophone, the Wonder Bleach.
Today buy Super Ajax fortified with Blancophone.
Harry Reichenbach was born on a Maryland farm in 1882. At 16, he set up in business as a matrimonial agent to the town of Cumberland. The easy marriage laws of Maryland provided him with an endless stream of customers, and he netted a small fortune. In 1906, Harry Reichenbach went to New York, where he rented a small Broadway office and nailed a publicity agent notice on the door. Business was slow, and a lean year went by before he was hired by a publisher to promote the sales of a romantic novel called 3 Weeks, written by the English authoress Eleanor Glynn. Its chances of success were regarded as slight until Reichenbach took over. He hired a squad of college students to write hundreds of letters attacking the book as obscene. They were mostly signed by indignant fathers or outraged citizens. It didn't take long to generate a storm of indignation from coast to coast. Members of women's clubs picketed stores displaying the book. Clergymen denounced it from the pulpit, and newspapers published editorials on its danger to the morals of the nation's youth. As a result, it sold more than 1 million copies. In 1917, Reichenbach was hired to publicize the first Tarzan of the Apes film. He dressed a giant orangutan in top hat, white tie, and tails, and appeared with it in the lobby of the swank Knickerbocker Hotel. Arrested for disorderly conduct, Reichenbach and the monkey were taken to the night court. The judge, a friend of Reichenbach's, willingly cooperated. He questioned the orangutan and complained that he could not understand its answers. Reichenbach then stepped forward and declared that his companion's name was Prince Charlie, that he was in town because his mother was appearing in the film Tarzan of the Apes, and had merely been trying to book a room at the Knickerbocker. Next morning, New York was delighted by the story. The film grossed more than $2 million. Once, during a temporary lull in the career of film star Rudolph Valentino, Reichenbach put him back on the front pages by persuading him to grow a beard. He then organized vehement protests by the American Master Barbers Association. The association realized that if Valentino kept his beard, half the young men of America would be letting their whiskers grow. The comedy continued until Reichenbach had the film star accept a free shave by the president of the Master Barbers Association. In the 1920s, the wily press agent purchased hundreds of thousands of acres of swampland in Florida for $5 an acre. He then launched a mammoth sales campaign and flogged off the land for more than 20 times the amount he had paid for it. In 1925, Reichenbach retired with an estimated fortune of $10 million. He built a mansion in Miami and lived there till his death in 1931. Our time is up till we meet again for another chapter in the Passing Parade. This is John Doremus. As always, thank you so much, and goodbye for now.
Sleeping this weather, isn't it?
Low of 12 degrees overnight, sea breeze tomorrow, sunny skies, top of 25 degrees, and a bit warmer on Wednesday.
Yeah, what more can we ask for?
Well, yeah, a bit of rain.
At the weekend, I think.
Okay, 3AW Wankarata, good evening to QN Deniliquid, and Norma at Briar Hill.
Hello, Norma.
Oh, hi, Bruce and Phil. Now, Phil,
yes.
Good luck with your health. And stay strong.
Oh, yeah, I've just had a bad bout of bronchitis, but I'm over it, thank you, Norma.
Well, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
And eat all your vitamins.
I am eating 3 times a day. I'm eating normal meals.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Now, look, the little digital radio is going well.
Yes.
And it's been very good. Lovely Mike Brady gave me one.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, they're fantastic digital radios, aren't they?
And it's been terrific.
Yes.
And listen, Bruce, I must congratulate you, David and Ken, on the broadcast from Carols by Candlelight.
Oh, that was wonderful.
And look, it must have been hard going on such a hard night. But look, you did a great job.
Well, there was terrific people around there. There was Ken behind the stage working miracles. Yes.
And
David Mann and myself. Not much, really.
well, look, you did very well, and that number 38 that comes up in the numbers every night. I think I live in a lucky house.
Good for you, Norma.
Yeah. Okay, fellas. Have a good day tomorrow.
Goodbye. Thank you for your call. Another mate, Cameron. Good evening, Cameron.
Oh, hello, Philip, and I wish you well, Philip. You got me worried for a moment there.
Yeah, it wasn't much fun. I thought I was choking last week and drowning almost.
Yes, well, I think these things happen for a reason. It's just telling you something. We won't say anything more.
I know, it's nature giving you a warning, yes.
That's right. Now, I don't think you need anyone else ringing up and saying, telling you what to do and all that.
No, I'm taking my 16 pills and capsules a day and puffers as well.
June at Q. Hello, June.
Oh, hello, Bruce and Phil.
G'day, June.
Happy New Year to you both.
Thank you.
And Philip, I'm very happy to hear you back again on radio.
Yeah, I missed you all over Christmas.
Yeah, I know. I was very worried about you. Now, my question, you used to talk about a gentleman down in Richmond to do with records and such, but he's gone, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. He's moved to Thailand to live now. His name is Jeff. But I can give you, I can suggest to you Dixon's Record Exchange in Blackburn, near the Blackburn station. They have a wonderful selection of CDs.
Okay, now my question is this. My son had visitors over the Christmas. While he was busy, one of them, he's ruined some of his records. He just took over the player and their vinyl, some of them vinyl records.
Yeah.
Okay. And when my son didn't know, and the fellow's ruined, he's done damage to them. And is there any way they can also sort of do a little bit of repair job on those?
Very difficult. Very difficult to do that.
So, okay, so we try and find, he'd have to go to second-hand places.
Okay, well, let me give you...
yes.
Let me give you a phone number for David Dixon in Blackburn. June, all right?
Give them a ring.
Well, he sells vinyl and CDs. Would you make a note of this number, please?
Yes, I will.
0418...
0418...
336...
336...
064, and David might be able to replace those vinyls for you.
Very difficult to repair them, but he'll have some advice.
Yeah, he might replace them.
All right, June, thank you very much.
No, hang on.
Yes?
Hang on. A gentleman rang in before about Pentridge.
Yes.
Now, it reminded my dad was a warder, and we lived close by Pentridge near St Paul's Church. And he used to be on the tower sometimes, and he was watching me one day. Apparently, I ruined his garden on my bike. I was only little, and he came home and gave me a smack. He saw me. You know how they have the towers at Pentridge?
Oh, yes.
The turrets.
Yes.
And I reckon he had binoculars up there as well.
I'll bet he did.
Yeah, I was very unpopular. Thank you both very much.
Okay, darling, I hope that's you can fix that vinyl stuff.
Oh, look, that'd be wonderful. Thank you so much.
David's your man. He might be able to replace it.
You can be too hopeful.
By the way, Bruce, let me ask you, I know you had an uncle who was a warden at Pentridge. Did he ever take you out there to have a look around?
No. Andrew, good evening.
Good evening, boys. How you going?
Yeah, good, thanks.
That's fantastic. Look, we're up at Mansfield tonight. We've had some sort of meteoritic thing going through the sky. Do you guys know what's going on?
No, you're the first caller.
Yeah, this meteor's going through the sky. I've counted 3 so far. They're way too big for planes in the night sky, so just wondering if any of your callers know what's going on. So
Wait, just describe them. What, like a ball of colour?
There's no ball of colour, but it's like a vapour trail from the old jets you get, but it's way too big to be a jet.
And was it only one vapour trail?
I've seen 2. There's actually a third now, as we speak, a third going across.
And you're up in the mountains, are you?
Yeah, we're at Mansfield in the mountains, but they're coming from the south, heading towards Sydney way, so they're going towards northeast.
All right, yeah, okay, so...
Probably a shooting star,
We might ask people who may have seen that or witnessed what you have, Andrew, just to tell us what they saw.
It's way too big to be shooting stars. So we'll just see what happens. If any of you guys know what's going on, it'd be great to find out what's happening.
All right, towards Mansfield and on the way to Sydney, you're saying, in that direction.
Yeah, on the way to the city, but way too big to be playing.
Okay.
So it's them like massive trail, way too big.
All right, Andrew, thank you for the call.
Bye, boys.
Yeah, it's a turbulent time, isn't it? Weather-wise and all the other constellations and changes in our weather and patterns that people are getting used to.
There have been some meteors in the last week or two. The Gemini meteor belt has been active.
Thank you, Andrew. Peter in Geelong. Good day, Pete.
Good day, Bruce and Phil.
Yes, Pete.
Earlier, it's probably about an hour ago, you're talking to a lady wondering about the mysteries of life, and I think in a hospital people are sort of giving their last confession and all this sort of thing.
Yes, yes.
And then you spoke about, you know, where we go in life or what life is about. Well, I've been very lucky to get to know a 91-year-old medical doctor who's written a book, and it just explains everything. And I think probably in the next 10 years it'll be read by everybody. It's just phenomenal. And as he says on the back cover, truth is stranger than fiction. And the book probably should be about 12 inches thick, but he's had to condense it down into a normal reading size. And I think once people get hold of this, and this is people on the planet generally, they'll learn a lot about the human race and where it's come from and where it's going. I'm just totally blown away by his in-depth knowledge and his studies that he told me he commenced back in the 1950s.
So what's the book called and who's the author, please?
Well, his name is Dr. Peter Daly, D-A-L-E-Y, and the book is called Meta, M-E-T-A, Physics, and the New Age. I've put a copy in the State Library, and there's a copy in the St Kilda Library.
Yes.
And it's quite phenomenal stuff. So be ready to be really hit with a lot of information, which you need to go through slowly and comprehend. But
so rather than reading the book out, what does it talk about? Life, death, why we're here?
Yes. Basically, where we've come from, why we're here, and where we're going. Quite phenomenal stuff that has actually been kept secret from us for the purposes, as he says, to keep us dumbed down. D-U-M-B-E-D. In other words, you keep the population pacified or dumbed down, give them free television every night to watch or free radio to listen to, and we won't inquire into the more major things which actually run the planet, run our lives and concern us. But we have been kept away from this information, and he's had enough of it and a gutful of it, and he's researched the matter for, well, what's it been, 50 years, and he's written on it, and now that it's out there in print, it can't be hidden at all.
Well, why has he been given the carte blanche to everything?
Well, what happened was there was a very incredible man lecturing on this matter in London in the 50s, and about 55 people attended his lectures. This doctor is the last living person on the planet who held all the information from this rather distinguished person, and decided to put it all into a book before he passed on himself.
Just give us one example of the metaphysical, Peter, if you will.
Well, you know how everybody thought the Mayan calendar anniversary date, I think it was in December 2012, something phenomenal was going to happen.
Yeah, some people predicted the end of the world.
Yes, go on.
And nothing happened. Well, the actual events around that were brought forward 50 years because of the problems with the Cold War and the near nuclear holocaust that was going to occur between Russia and America. So there were actual major events that will be studied in the future by human beings as to actually what went on. But they're suppressed, they're kept secret from us, but without them, we probably wouldn't be here today.
What's the name of the book, briefly, Peter, before we leave?
Metaphysics and the New Age by Dr. Peter Daly.
Right. Okay, some light reading there from Peter in Geelong. Thank you, Pete.
Would you like a copy for Christmas, Bruce?
11:26.
I wonder if you've been down the Great Ocean Road this week. Have you got something to report back to us on?
I'd say so.
We just hope you didn't lose any property at Wye River or lawn or wherever.
Sue at Gembrook. G'day, Sue.
Yeah, g'day, guys.
Yes, Sue.
In regards to the vinyl records, I can't repair mine anymore because I have what you call a bilateral record player. It stands on its end. I bought it back in the 80s, and it has a needle on both sides, so you can play A and B without flipping the record.
Oh, that's interesting.
But with the old-style flat record players, we used to put, I think it was a penny or something, on top of the head where the needle is.
Yes, that's right.
So you'd probably do it with a 20-cent piece nowadays.
Yeah, well, we used to, yes.
And the weight of it would help. If the scratches weren't that bad,
that's
it
right.
would help repair it.
Yes. Well, I remember sticking a 20-cent piece on a top of a... Oh, what would it be?
The cartridge.
No, the head.
Yeah, the needle.
Of the needle to weigh it down.
Yeah, and that would help re-groove it again.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. I hope it works for you.
Oh, that's kind of you.
No worries.
All right, Sue, thanks so much.
And a good way to clean up your vinyls is with methylated spirits.
It's 11:30, 96900 693, the telephone. Everything you'd like to ring in about. We've got some Pancake Parlour vouchers for you if you'd like to ring in now. Pancake Parlour, open 24 hours at High Point, Doncaster and Malvern East.
Now, we had some reports of UFOs around Mansfield about half an hour ago. Have you spotted anything up that way that you want to report back to us about?
96900 693, 96900 693. Anything, in fact, you might like to talk about Christmas and how you spent Christmas.
Yes.
Different sort of day.
And what are your plans for New Year's Eve? Are you going to a party or are you going to stay home? We'll do the countdown for you between 7 and midnight.
I don't know whether you want to come into town, whether the attraction, you know...
Oh, the fireworks are the big attraction,
I
aren't they?
suppose so, but, you know, in the light of what we've seen and what we've done and what's happened to our little community.
Oh, no, I think it'll attract a huge crowd if the weather's kind to us.
Okay. 96900 693, that's the phone number to call.
You might win a prize. Give us a go and talk to us about anything under the sun, whatever's on your mind. What did you want to say, Sue? Good evening.
Oh, hello. The reason I was ringing, the fellow that rang up about the Meteor in Mansfield or wherever he saw it.
Yes.
I was just wondering, could that be a UFO?
Well, we don't know, do we?
No, yeah.
You haven't had anybody else ring up about sightings?
No, not tonight, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was just talking to my daughter about it, and she said that she looked up on the internet, and there was quite a few sightings a few months ago in Victoria, and so she thought it might have been a UFO.
Well, we'll stay tuned if anybody has any info for us.
Very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Often it turns out to be a space probe from China or Russia or something like that, you know.
All right, have a lovely New Year, and I'm glad you're feeling better, Phil.
Yeah, I'm feeling 100%. Thank you, Sue.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Good night, Sue. Bye-bye. Robin, good evening, Robin.
Good evening, Bruce and Phil.
Oh, how's our mate?
Hi, and thanks for the CD, Robin, Wild Orchids.
Oh, thank you, Philip, and I'm glad that you're well again. I was worried about you.
Thank you.
Yes, I just rang in to say that my parents built at Wye River in 1983.
Yes.
And they've since passed and left the house to my brother and I, and I've spent, since Christmas, the days of hell and back, but our house, miraculously, is still standing.
Oh, what a miracle.
It is, because everything's on gas bottles down there.
Oh, wow.
And just the radiated heat, we were worried that that would blow up the... the gas bottle would go and set fire. Anyway, it just looks like a moon.
Robin, do you use it very much? Have you used it a lot?
Well, yeah, my brother lives in there.
Oh, I see, yes.
And we're both members of the CFA, so we had some involvement in all of this.
Yes.
So I'm back in Melbourne now, but I'll be heading back on Wednesday because there's a worry that it's still burning behind Y.
Yes.
And they're trying to keep the containment lines. But with the hot weather coming and the northerly winds, we're just all worried that that something might flare up again, and God hope that it doesn't.
No, but be prepared.
But the spirit of the people, I have to tell you, is just the fire brigade and the women's auxiliary and the people down there. It's just incredible to see everybody pulling in and working together. And
boy, there's firefighters. There's about 8 firefighters.
Yep.
Who you could almost single-handedly say almost saved that part of Victoria.
Well, Well, when Mum was president of the CFA Women's Auxiliary for 12 years, the ladies raised the money for their new fire truck and their new ute. And, you know, we work all year round digging the fire tracks and the trails, but you can only go so far because the Otways are so heavily wooded.
Yes.
And the hills that the fire trucks are expected to get up in those breaks are almost vertical in some places.
Gee.
So it's, you know, when it's boots on ground, it's really, really hard work. And the heat, I mean, people, unless you've been near a bushfire, you feel it a long time before you see a flame.
Yeah.
And the smoke and, you know, the falling embers, and it's just like hell. It's like being in...
Oh, yes, it would be, Robin.
Well, you look after yourself, and love to your brother and your family and the whole community down there. We're thinking and praying for you.
Thank you, guys. And if I don't talk to you again, I hope that the new year brings, you know, happiness for everybody in 2016.
Oh, that's very lovely.
Oh, thanks, Robin. To you too, all right?
Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, Philip.
Okay, love. Thanks, Robin. 24 to midnight. Scarlett, hello. Scarlett.
Yeah, hello, Bruce and Phil.
Yes,
And
what's your
welcome
story,
back.
Scarlett?
Welcome back, Phil.
Thank you so much.
You were sorely missed by everybody.
Oh, I missed all of you too.
Yeah, but and also very good news from Cara there.
Yes, wasn't it?
To show the power of prayer, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So many of the Nightliners were praying for her.
Yes, I know.
This isn't what I rang for tonight, but that story I gave you the other night, Phil, when you were on with Bruce, rather, when you were on with Andrew, about the Lamington man, that was a true story. I wasn't pulling your leg on that.
Oh, yes, I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah, I hope you realise that. I did ring back and tell Kieran to pass that on to you.
Yes.
So I appreciate the thoughts of Edna and Steve from Greenvale and even from Peter, who rang in before about that book, because, you know, many things happen to people, such as what happened to me that day with that man appearing out of nowhere with the Lamingtons.
Yes.
Like there's been stories, and I've known some of these people personally, where they've broken down on a lonely country road with not a soul in sight, and seemingly, and just as they were despairing, a man would turn up with his toolbox, fix their car. As they turned to thank them, they had completely disappeared.
And you know, I heard you tell Bruce a story. Often we believe that these people could be angels, Scarlett.
Yeah, earth angels, exactly.
Yes, really.
That Lamington man turning up, I mean, it's very hard to believe, and I don't blame people for not believing it, but it did happen, which...
Oh, yeah. And then when you looked out again, he had just totally disappeared, right?
He had totally disappeared.
Oh, amazing.
My son had gone out straight away to find him to get the extra Lamingtons because they look so beautiful and so cheap that he took me into letting him go back and buying another dozen.
I tell you who'd love that story.
Disappeared.
Wouldn't Dame Edna love that story?
An amazing story. Thank you, Scarlett.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Dick, good evening.
Good evening, Bruce. I'm just approaching Druin on the Prince's Highway, and it's a full moon tonight, and it's very bright out here, and I can see what that fellow was talking about. The big reflection around the moon goes out for about 500 metres either side, I reckon, and you can see all the reflection of the clouds.
Yes, yes.
I think that does look a bit like a vapour trail.
All right, so it could be cloud cover.
So where are you, Dick?
I'm on the Prince's Highway just near Druin,
All right.
Yeah.
heading down to Traralgon.
It almost looks as though it's illuminated, doesn't it, the moon?
Yeah, it's very, very bright, and it's almost like a searchlight, and it's reflecting on all the clouds around it, and it does look like a vapour trail.
Yes.
I think that's what he's probably was seeing.
Oh, that's very helpful. Thank you, Dick. It's like a harvest moon out
Hold
there
on,
tonight.
Dick. We'll get you a pancake parlour voucher for your trouble.
Oh, thanks very much.
Pancake Parlour open 24 hours at High Point, Doncaster and Malvern East. You'll have a lovely afternoon tea there and some beautiful pancakes.
Good, thank you very much.
All right, Dick, thanks for your call. Drive safely, won't you?
I'll do that.
Lindsay at Hughesdale. G'day, Linz.
Yeah, g'day guys and the rest of your crew there doing a good job. Yeah, I haven't ring for a while, but I just rang to say that I had a a good day today. I went over to Mum's we had a sort of a late Christmas lunch, and there were all my children and their partners there, and the grandchild, Victoria, and Mum, who's 85, and my sister, and my sister put on the usual, you know, the turkey and all that stuff, and we had a nice lunch. And
lovely.
I was just going to say, the kids, they learn so quick. My granddaughter, she's must be 18 months now, 19 months, and she calls me Pop, and my mum she calls Nana, and she knew my sister's name, which is Sue, and she even, my son-in-law, he's Russian, and his parents, they call them, I think the grandma's Babushka, and I can't, Babushka or something. And she even says that. I mean, it's incredible.
How old is she?
Oh, she's 2 in March.
They are like blotters. They just absorb everything.
I know, it's just incredible. They learn. I tell you what, I couldn't learn names that quick, but
no,
they're really good. And yeah, just you just like it when you hear them say it. I mean, it's
they're gorgeous.
It's an ego hit.
I think it is.
But yeah, had a great day. So thank you to my sister for all she put on and all the time she went to. And we just all caught up. You know, it's hard at Christmas to get everyone together at once. And my daughter and her husband, the other one, that they fly back to Uganda next week. They were here for a month for Christmas. So he's got work and doing schooling at Oxford. They go back there after that, and she's a doctor, and she's...
What do they do? Missionary work, do they?
Oh, well, no, well, he's in Uganda doing part of his thesis or something to do with Africa, and he's interviewing politicians, but while she's there with him, she stays with him, she is working, you know, for nothing and helping all women over there with, she's a paediatrician.
Right.
She's helping them with all their infant problems and pregnancies and things like that.
Great
and they
job.
Go back to Oxford in a few months.
Great job they're doing.
Oh, it's great. They're really having a good time, so good luck to them.
All right, Lindsay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And thanks for sharing your lovely day with us. Good. Who's there?
It's Barry at Watsonia. Hello, Barry.
Good evening, boys. Good to see you back together again.
Thank you, Barry.
Good health, this is good.
Yes.
I reckon that must have been Santa Claus they saw. I think he's been adjusting his reindeer up at Yarra Glen.
I think you could be right there, Barry. I think you're onto a very good thing there, Barry. I think you're onto a good thing.
Listen, boys, just a curiosity. Has any of you ever seen glass houses where they put the lime wash over the glass?
No, tell us more.
No, what I was getting at is I've been sort of off and on ruminating about fireproofing houses or dwellings as best you can. And my father had a glass house years and years and years ago, but they used to put this lime wash over the glass, and it really cut the heat down. And in Greece, they've got these. There's a church, and it must get really, really hot in Greece when the summer's up. And they've painted this church, and it's lime, and it's white, really white, and it's really cool inside. So I figured maybe people with tiled roofs anyway, I reckon they could probably lime wash the interior of the roofs, maybe even the timber, and I reckon they'd kill a lot of the heat from getting into their house.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
So, like it hit the tiles, the tiles can take a lot of heat because they've obviously been in the kiln, but imagine putting the lime wash on the interior. I'd love to get 2 tiles and put them out in the sun and lime wash one of them, and then have thermometers.
I think they do on the island of Mykonos and all those Greek islands. They actually paint that onto the surface of roofs.
In Santorini also.
Yeah, it must be pretty effective. So, as far as keeping your house cool and keeping it if you had sparks flying around your house in the fire, it might make the difference as being able to save
but
the house.
apart from that, there's no vegetation, there's no greenery, there's no trees around them on these islands that I'm talking about.
No, it's pretty rocky. I think the goats years ago, the Romans, I reckon the Romans and around the Mediterranean and those places, the goats pretty well ate every tree that was there.
Yeah, I think so. Same thing happened on Malta too, believe me.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, good theory. Thank you, Barry.
Have a good night. Lovely to hear you both back together.
Oh, great.
Thank you, Barry, very much.
Time for one more call, maybe. 96900 693. Anything you want to get off your chest. Have you done what my lovely friend Jules done? She's been down to Werribee Park to check out the 3 lion cubs that were christened only last week, and she said it's a wonderful experience to see them frolicking around in the sun with their mum. And I've never been, do you know, in all the years I've never been to Werribee Open Range Zoo, Bruce. I must take a trip down there.
Oh, well, I have been, well, I've taken, I wouldn't have perhaps have gone down if it was of my own volition. But with grandchildren, I've shared it with them, and children too, and just a wonderful experience.
Yeah. Places come and go. Do you remember in years come by?
Used to be the old home of a very distinguished and well-known Melbourne businessman.
All right.
The old Werribee mansion, and if for the life of me I can't think of it. Anyway.
For years it belonged to the Catholic Church for a seminary for
it was
would-be
built by
priests.
this businessman.
Not John Wren?
No.
No. I tell you what closed down that used to be an attraction years ago, the Bacchus Marsh Lion Park. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes.
Years and years and years
but
ago.
it was a time when lion parks were the flavour of the month. Everyone and his dog and his lion. Across Australia was opening a lion park.
And there were always lions and circuses.
You could get in and then you'd drive your car and the kids would be out the back window there.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Danger? Maybe it was a hazard?
Yes, all these places have gone by the wayside. Cryle Castle's reopened out of Ballarat. That's, great fun if you want to go up there for a day of jousting
and yet
or whatever.
that closed down, thinking no one was interested, and yet, of course, everyone says, yes, we are.
Yeah, they love it again now. Our own real-life castle up near Ballarat. It's 9 to 12, time for us to go, sadly.
This piece is called Hear the Music. I've done it before. I think you might like it. Hear the Music. Have you ever watched kids playing on a merry-go-round or listened to the rain lapping on the ground? Ever followed a butterfly's erratic flight or gazed at the sun into the fading night? Do you run through each day on the fly? When you ask, how are you? Do you hear the reply? When the day is done, do you lie in your bed with 100 chores running through your head? Ever told your child, we'll do it tomorrow, and in your haste not seen his sorrow? Ever lost touch, let a good friendship die, just called to say hi? And when you worry and hurry through your day, it's like an unopened gift, it's thrown away. Life's not a race, take it slower, hear the music before the song is over. Life may not be the party we hoped for, but while we're here, we might as well dance.
Copyright restricts distribution of this piece by any means of duplication.
And that takes us away for another night, and for Nightline for this night. We're back tomorrow night at 10. Hope at that time you can join us. As the last minutes of the day tick by, looking forward to Alan Pearsall and Australia Overnight after midnight.
Yeah, lovely show tonight. A terrific show for me to come back to. Thanks, folks.
So thank you for your calls. We'll do it again tonight, and we'll get some, or tomorrow night, get some topics going.
Thanks a lot, Ken, for your input, your contribution, and your inspiration.
What?
I don't know. I just look out to Ken occasionally, and it just motivates me somehow.
What's like an apostle, is it?
I don't know. Just more of a statue.
Or like a saint?
No, never a saint.
Good night, Samuel, Carter and Amelia and Emily, Charlotte, Sweet Ella Grace, Little William Oliver, and Sophia Grace. I'm Bruce Mansfield.
And I'm Philip, saying hi to all my friends, staff and patients at the Epworth in Richmond.
Oh, yes. Calling in to see them soon.
Yeah, well, not on my way home. I don't think I'll be working.
No. But maybe tomorrow, just to be nice to call in.
Oh, I'll call by.
We'll let you know the time and the day.
I'll spread some good cheer over the new year.
Do it.
Oh, yes,
you can't be talk all the time.
No, take him a Adam's Christmas cake.
Then we get that Probus Club all next year.
Oh, yeah.
Big year coming up.
Oh, yes.
No, you're devoted and you are, to me, a saint.
Oh, yes, I'll be getting an OA any day now, I think, in order of Australia.
If he doesn't, he won't do it.